Forerunner's divine revelation of true human, CIA, Essenes and Enoch about the events of 2025. The powers that organized the Atlantic Council on 2025, which included representatives from Europe, United States, China, Japan, and other partner countries, under the leadership of the U.S. National Intelligence Council, the EU Intelligence Institute, developed a research paper which was included in a report entitled Global Governance 2025 at a Critical Junction. In this document, the world's highest level intelligence agencies determined that a global government would emerge around 2025, also requiring all countries to put aside their differences and unite to mutually protect each other from an unprecedented threat, quote unquote. This is an obvious recognition on the part of Western and Eastern countries that the prophecies about 2025 are not empty words. Everything is so serious that countries of power are planning to meet this year with countermeasures in an attempt to maintain a more familiar world order, perhaps under the pretext of security. A unified government of pro-Babylonian countries will really be created under the leadership of, as conspiracy theorists call it, the Antichrist. And this attempt, a panicked attempt to cling to power, becomes more than understandable when we learn about the unanimous essence of numerous prophecies about 2025, the fact that all the predictions are associated with fundamental changes in human civilization. 2025, the prophecy of the Qumran manuscripts. This prophecy is described in detail in the book of the famous American TV presenter Tom Horn, 2025. In this book, the author examines the Dead Sea prophecies, so named because Qumran is located on the Dead Sea, about 20 miles from Jerusalem, which were discovered in 1947 and turned out to be the most important archaeological discovery of the 20th century. The Essenes, who compiled and rewrote those prophetic books, called themselves the Sons of Light, quote unquote, in their struggle against the sons of darkness. The final stage of this struggle, which will begin in 2025, indicated by the Dead Sea prophecies. It's interesting that this prophecy is connected with another almost fulfilled prophecy of the Essenes about the time of the first coming of Jesus Christ. The Essenes predicted that the Messiah would come for the first time between 25 and 75 AD. As we know, he indeed came and died in the first part of this Jubilee period, and his new lineage completely replaced Judaism by the year 75 with the destruction of Jerusalem and the completion of almost the entire New Testament. The Essenes do not talk about 2025 as the time of the second coming, but connect this year with the coming of the forerunner and the last complete or incomplete 50-year cycle of history. The starting date for the Essenes was the first Jubilee, which began in the fall of 1406 BC, the year of the beginning of the conquest of the Promised Land. After 70 anniversaries, the autumn 2075 AD will come. The Essenes predicted that at the end of this period, in 2025, there would be a unique 50-year or so period during which human judgment would befall sinners, and the forerunner, the new Melchizedek, would come to rule the nations. They put forward a prediction that in 2025, the period of victory of the Sons of Light will begin, which will be marked by the preparation of the world for the second coming of Jesus Christ. This is the kingdom of the people of saints, about which other biblical prophecies speak. The author of the book 2025 also analyzes the prophecies of another forgotten book, the book of Enoch. As with the Essenes, the book of Enoch, which was also found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, presented a picture of 700-year periods, that's 4,900 years. As with the Essenes, Enoch's prophecy also points to 2025 as a time of catastrophic, dramatic change and the beginning of the world's preparation for the second coming. The connection between these extra-biblical sources demands that we pay attention, and the author of the book 2025 devotes more than 300 pages to this. An interesting document called 11Q Melchizedek was found among the Dead Sea Scrolls in the caves of Qumran. In this interesting document, the forerunner is called the new Melchizedek. Let's recall that in the Holy Scriptures, Melchizedek was the king and priest. It's a compound word meaning king-priest, to whom Abraham bowed and to whom Abraham brought his tithes and offerings. In the same way, according to the prophecy, the forerunner will not only be king, but also take on the function that the priesthood previously tried unsuccessfully to perform. This document is believed to have been written at least a century before the birth of Jesus Christ. This document accurately predicts the arrival and death of the coming Messiah, Jesus Christ, down to the exact year, and uses the Essene calendar and understanding of the eras of human history to explain it. It also describes the last times, the time of preparation for the second coming, the leader of which is the new Melchizedek, king-priest. And as for what he said, Leviticus 25:13, this Jubilee year you must return everyone to his own land. Regarding this, he said in Deuteronomy 15:2, this is the way of deliverance. Every creditor will give back what he has lent to his neighbor. This will be liberation for God. This interpretation is for the last days and refers to the captives whose teachers were hidden and kept secret, and from the inheritance of Melchizedek, and they are inheritance of Melchizedek, who will both gather them and bring them back. And freedom will be proclaimed to them to free them from the debt of their iniquities. And this will happen in the first week of the Jubilee, in which redemption will be made for all the sons of light and the people of the Lord Melchizedek over according to all their deeds. For this is the time of the year of grace, of Melchizedek and his armies, the people of the saints of God, the rule of judgment, as is written about him in the songs of David, who said in Psalm 82:1, God spoke in the assembly of God among the gods whom he judges. And about him he said in Psalm 82:2, how long will you judge unjustly and show compassion to the wicked? This may be a little difficult to read, but it's written that way because these texts were found in fragments and had to be reconstructed by textual scholars. The biblical passages quoted are interpreted as referring to the end times, when the Anointed One will free the captives from their debts, reveal himself as the man who is the bearer of God, and teach this to other people called gods in Psalm 8. The Day of Atonement will follow the 10th Jubilee period, when the forerunner will unite all the sons of light and the people who are destined for Melchizedek, for this time is appointed for the year of Melchizedek's favor. The messenger who brings good news, who proclaims salvation, is the forerunner, about whom it's written that he comes to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor, the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all those who mourn. The prophet Isaiah also spoke about this, pointing to the initial period of the kingdom, which was to be proclaimed by Jesus Christ, Isaiah 61:2 and Daniel 9:25. New Melchizedek, new reality. Aren't there too many coincidences? This new Melchizedek is so feared and hated by the kings and priests of the earth that entire propaganda and intelligence institutions are working today to prevent this from happening. At least they're paid well for now until the coming new Melchizedek seriously settles accounts with them. But those who are not paid, those who have already turned dark to fight against the forerunner, they get nothing now, but in 2025, they will get big kickbacks. By the way, the prophetic collection of Leo the Wise also points to the forerunner as a new Melchizedek, who, having realized the divine nature in himself, reveals this awareness in others. The apostle St. Paul writes about Christ as being like Melchizedek. For Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abraham and blessed him as he returned from defeat of the kings, to whom Abraham divided the tithes from all, first according to the sign of the name, the King of righteousness, and then the King of Salem, that is, the King of peace. Without father, without mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, being like the Son of God, he remains a priest forever. Hebrews 7. But the image of the forerunner of Melchizedek, the one coming after him, are clearly reflected. Inexperienced but very smart, one who is obscure and invisible to everyone else, but known to God and to himself, the one who comes from both the lower class and the royal offspring, is himself the Son of the King of glory. The name of the Father is divine. He is exalted by God and not by father and mother. The result of the forerunner's revelation of true human, or rather divine, nature could be the quantum transition and the formation of an invincible, indestructible, unstoppable new reality. And this is on Soul Ask. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.